When the Johnson family moved into Blackwood Manor, they thought they had found their dream home. Nestled at the edge of a dense forest, the grand Victorian mansion seemed like something out of a fairy tale. But little did they know the house held secrets darker than they could ever imagine. As they settled into their new home, strange things began to happen. Objects would move on their own, strange noises echoed through the halls at night, and an oppressive feeling of dread hung heavy in the air. At first, the Johnsons brushed off these occurrences as mere coincidence, but as time went on, they realized that something was seriously wrong. The Johnsons' youngest daughter, Emily, was the first to experience the full extent of the house's malevolent presence. One night, she woke up to find a shadowy figure standing at the foot of her bed, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Terrified, Emily screamed for her parents, but when they rushed to her room, the figure had vanished without a trace. As the days turned into weeks, the Johnsons became increasingly desperate to uncover the truth behind the hauntings. They consulted experts in the paranormal, conducted seances, and even brought in a team of ghost hunters to investigate. But all their efforts yielded no answers. It wasn't until they stumbled upon an old diary hidden in the attic that the Johnsons began to unravel the dark history of Blackwood Manor. The diary belonged to a former resident named Sarah Blackwood, who had lived in the house in the late 19th century. As they read through Sarah's entries, they discovered a tale of tragedy and betrayal that stretched back centuries. Sarah had been accused of witchcraft by her neighbours and burned at the stake on the grounds of the manor, cursing the land and all who dwelled within it with her dying breath. Armed with this newfound knowledge, the Johnsons realised that they were not dealing with a mere haunting, but a curse that had been passed down through generations. The malevolent spirit of Sarah Blackwood was determined to exact revenge on all who dared to call Blackwood Manor home, and unfortunately, the Johnsons were next on her list. As the hauntings grew more intense, the Johnsons found themselves trapped in a living nightmare. Doors slammed shut on their own, ghostly apparitions appeared in the mirrors, and a sense of impending doom hung heavy in the air. Desperate to break the curse, they turned to drastic measures in a last-ditch effort to save themselves. In a heart-stopping climax, the Johnsons confronted the spirit of Sarah Blackwood in a final showdown for their lives. Armed with ancient rituals and talismans, they faced off against the vengeful ghost in a battle that would determine their fate once and for all. As the darkness closed in around them, the Johnsons summoned all their courage and strength to banish Sarah's spirit from the manor and break the curse once and for all. In a blinding flash of light, the spirit vanished into the ether, leaving behind only a sense of peace and tranquility that had long been absent from Blackwood Manor. With the curse lifted, the Johnsons were finally free to enjoy their new home in peace. As they settled into their lives, they couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the harrowing experience that had brought them closer together as a family. As for Blackwood Manor, it stood silent and empty, its dark past relegated to the annals of history. But as the Johnsons knew all too well, the memory of their ordeal would linger long after they had moved on, a reminder of the darkness that lurked within the walls of the old Victorian mansion. And so, as they looked to the future with hope and optimism, they knew that they would never forget the lessons they had learned and the bonds they had forged in the crucible of terror. For in the end, it was their love for each other and their unwavering determination to overcome adversity that had seen them through the darkest of times. The end.